Hello everyone, this is Glen Guyton, your employee engagement specialist and keynote speaker. I'm here I'm in Frankfurt right now. I'm in Frankfurt, Germany, and I'm at this park, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on at the park. I came to see this fountain, but I don't see the fountain. I just see some construction, so I'm wondering if that's what's going on. I'm going to walk around the park just a little bit to see what's going on. And, when you go places, I try to be respectful of the culture and things that are going on. I'm in a different place, new things to see. I hear people in Germany don't really like me in film. I don't know. That's what I've been told. I try to check out the culture, the cultural norms when I go places. I try to get a sense of what's happening, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. I also want to get just a taste of the local culture. This is a nice park, by the way, but I don't see a fountain. I'm thinking a fountain should be here somewhere, but I don't see the fountain. So anyway, as I think about when I travel, again, I always try to get a little sense of, hey, what's the culture like? What are the things that I should be mindful of, the things that I should or shouldn't do? One of the things that they say in Germany, and one of the things I hear about Germany is they don't like jaywalking. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard. So I want to see how strict the jaywalking rules really are here. And they have all these different buttons that you can push when you're crossing, and it tells you can cross. And of course, there are a lot of bicyclists and things like that going by. And when I was by myself, I really wanted to make sure that I paid attention to those signs and I didn't just cross the street and disrupt the culture, right? I didn't want to disrupt the culture. So I pressed my sign and I waited and crossed the street. So what happened? Some Germans came by on their bicycles and a few German runners came by, and I wanted to see if they were being as strict as I was about crossing the street. And guess what? They were not. They were not being as strict about the rules as I was. But look, I watched a TikTok video, and TikTok said that Germans are really, really concerned about you crossing the street. I don't know how many Germans I have out there, but you all can weigh in to tell me how accurate that is. But they say that jaywalking is a big deal, and you don't want to set a bad example for the kids. So I don't want to come to Germany and set a bad example for the kids. So I didn't jaywalk. And lo and behold, the Germans are violating their own rules. Isn't that wild? They're violating their own rules. But look, as I think about the workplace and even as I got ready for this trip, when you are going somewhere new or coming to a new organization, how you get onboarded matters, right? It really matters how the rules are explained to you so that you know what you should and shouldn't do. All of the unwritten rules in the organization. Hey, by the way, I think this is the fountain. No water. Look at that. I'm so disappointed. I walked like a mile to come here and I don't see any water. So disappointed. But I'm getting out, seeing things. Anyway, back to the rules and onboarding. So, how you onboard people into the organization culture really matters, right? Because I think people want to do the right thing. They want to fit in. They want to make sure that they're not breaking any of the many unwritten rules we have in the workplace. They want to make sure that they fit in properly, that they don't get lost in the system, whatever the system is of your workplace. When I got here to Germany, I decided to take the train. So I watched a few videos. I'm going to use public transportation. Watch the videos. Got me a Deutschland pass so that I can just travel around on any of the local transports without having to pay again. So I worked all that out. But you know what? It took me 3 times to get on the right bus. I still messed up because I'm not familiar with this culture. I'm not familiar with Germany. And I think I was just on the wrong side of the street. Of course, we have apps and all these other things that help us, but it's nothing like, for me at least, other people are different. A little trial and error is good for me. I like to get in there, get my hands dirty, Some people are like that. Some of you all can just read a manual and get a sense of the culture or get a sense of what's going on around you, even in the workplace. Me, I can read a manual. You can tell me what the rules are, but I want to see them in action. So I want to observe how people are actually doing these things. Again, TikTok told me that Germans were really strict about this crosswalk thing, this jaywalking thing. But I see that they aren't. Maybe some Germans are, but now that I see the real deal, now that I see what's really happening in this German culture, I'm not going to be as strict either. Now, is that right or wrong? No, but those are the real rules, right? You can have your manuals, you can have your policies, procedures, but people are going to look at and see what other folks are doing. And the majority of us, people like me, are going to follow the culture versus following all of the policies. Now, I'm aware of this jaywalking thing. Again, I don't know if it's real or not. I saw it on TikTok. I'm aware of it, but I see that in practice it's not as strict. And so as we think about our workplaces and how we onboard people, first of all, let's be honest. Let's be honest about our policies and procedures. Are we really looking at the letter of the law? Is it more the spirit of the law? How are we going to enforce these things in our workplace? And then is the boss culture different from the employee culture? So are the employees doing something different because it's just not practical? And you as a boss think that they're enforcing all of these rules and policies and they actually aren't. So those things really matter. How you onboard people matter. How you're enforcing your policies and procedures matter. What other people are saying about you matter. Because it shapes a perception. And so I was all nervous coming here thinking like, man, I really got to be careful in these crosswalks. It's like the thing that I was paying attention to most. I probably should have been researching bus routes and what side of the street to stand on, but I got a handle. I got to where I need to go. It took me about 20 extra minutes to get here because I took the same bus twice, going the wrong direction twice. I just took it in different spots. So I said, well, let me walk back 15 minutes back this other way. And I caught the bus going the exact same wrong direction that I was going before. But I'm here safely. I got to my hotel and I'm chilling. So yeah. So I'm talking about Germany because I'm in Germany. But hopefully, what you get out of this today is thinking about as you engage your employees. How are you onboarding them? How are you getting them acculturated to the culture of your organization? And then you have all these policies and procedures and rules that you've told people about. What's the real deal? Hey, let's be honest. What's the real deal of what's going on in your workplace? Well, hopefully that helps you all. I would encourage you all to be adventurous in your personal lives. Go out and try new things. See new places, meet new people. I think that's always great. It also gives you a sense of compassion to be in a place where you don't speak the language, you don't know the cultural norms, you don't know your way around. It really humbles you as a human being, even as a leader. I think sometimes we as leaders take for granted all the information that we have and that we know in our head, that we know the system, we know the culture, and we think people should just get it just like that. But they might have to get on the wrong bus 3 or 4 times before they get headed in the right direction. So we need to have compassion as leaders. That goes a long way in employee engagement. The other thing that I heard when people talk about Germans is that Germans are not friendly. Now, I know people at the hotel are going to be friendly, but Germans are not like as friendly as we are in the U.S., meaning not that they're mean. We're just over the top, right? We're just loud. We are laughing and joking. You know, we have a reputation of that around the world. Not the worst reputation. Now, there's some other cultures that maybe are more loud than we are in general. But we're really smiley. And the last time I was in Germany, people were pretty stoic. But this time at the hotel, the people were really friendly. Now, of course, it's at the hotel, so they deal with tourists, so they know how to have this intercultural, cross-cultural type of dialogue. But yeah, so sometimes we take our cultures for granted, and uh, we lock into one or two things that we think we know about maybe even other people, and we have to give people a chance. We have to give people a chance. Now, Germany is pretty quiet, at least where I am in Frankfurt is pretty quiet. I've heard a lot of different things about Frankfurt too, but each place is different. This I'm at a park, it's pretty quiet. It's later in the day, but it's quiet, it's peaceful. I like it. And so hopefully as you think about your workplace, you think about your workplace culture, uh, really consider what it's like when you're new. When you're new to a place, you don't know what's going on. You're a stranger in a strange land per se. How would you feel? What do you need to know in order to navigate these things successfully? And what if you were just by yourself, just out here by yourself? You go to a corporate environment, you're speaking a different language. Uh, there are different norms that you have to pay attention to. Everything is just sensory overload. So what do you do? What do you do? And everybody's not that adventurous. So how are you going to bring people on? How are you going to onboard people? Those are some other things that I want you to think about. But again, this is Glen Guyton, your employee engagement specialist, keynote speaker, speaking to you from Frankfurt, Germany. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.